Hey everybody, November 2025 promises to be a fascinating month as we're going to have Mars, Mercury, and the Sun in the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury is going to go retrograde and Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So we're having some sort of major redirect, returnaround, redo, reevaluation and and making sure that we're in alignment because Saturn is also in retrograde and Saturn's going to go direct at the end of the month. So Saturn and Jupiter are making this beautiful trine, Mercury in retrograde. Now, all three of these planets are going to be in retrograde, making sure that we reevaluate, we go back and we redo something from the past that we've left behind, need to redo, need to learn better, or need to integrate more in our psyche before we can go forward when Saturn stations direct at the end of the month. All right, here we are at the beginning of November with Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius. Mars is going to oppose Uranus before it moves into Sagittarius here in a day or two, which will cause some sort of upset, possibly it can be a volatile, sudden violence, sudden upheavals, and it can be a shock and awe energy, crisis energy, and degree point of Scorpio. But other than that, the month looks beautiful after we get over that hump. But Mercury is going to start going retrograde here on the 9th, and then Jupiter follows in retrograde. And Jupiter is making this beautiful trine to Saturn, and the Sun will join that trine. Venus will join that trine in the month of November, which is a beautiful backdrop of harmony, calm, peace, blessings, intuitive intelligence, connecting, reflecting these energies because we've got all this retrogradation with Jupiter in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde, Saturn in retrograde. And then with that Mercury in retrograde, we're going back, we're reconnecting with people that we need to reconnect with, that are really a part of our future, that are a part of our Dharma. Sagittarius is all about our Dharma, being on our calling, being on our purpose, following a destiny, following a destined path. And then Jupiter is blessing that with long-term opportunities and abundance and expansion. But when it's in retrograde, we're really reevaluating and we're integrating what we have learned so far and really leaning on what we've learned and really seeing if we've learned it on a psyche level, that it's integrated as a part of who we are now. Planets go direct, we learn a lot. Jupiter direct, Jupiter retrograde, we go back and we discover what we have learned, what is real, what is solid in what we have learned that we can really lean on and use for our own personal expansion. So, Jupiter retrograde, ruling all these planets in Sagittarius. The Sun's going to go into Sagittarius in the 21st of November. And Mercury will be retrograde back into Scorpio, forming another opposition to Uranus, which could bring another deep secrets, revelations, people from the past coming in. Mercury retrograde, we're reevaluating people from our past, choices we made in the past that were not necessarily put us in the right direction. People we left behind that are part of that are really supportive of our true dharmic path that we need to go back and reconnect with. Ideas, projects that we may have not felt strong enough to do or courageous enough to do. Because remember, we have a Jupiter who is ruling all of these planets in Sagittarius, squaring Chiron, giving us the courage and healing us to be initiators and to start these dharmic callings and missions, or shall we say purposes, or what we're here to do, which is going to bring the world into a better place. When we follow our dharmic path collectively, we make heaven on earth, basically. So Jupiter and Saturn is making this beautiful trine, blessing us with opportunities and rewards, you could say, from the squares that happened before with Jupiter Saturn square, where we're now starting to see opportunities in the results of our efforts that will solidify and stabilize an abundant future for us, right? But with this retrogradation, we have to go back and fix something or reconnect with someone or redo a project or come back and reevaluate something we believe. Maybe we have a new belief system. Maybe we can do something now with our new belief, with that Jupiter squaring Chiron. We have the faith in it. Now we can go back and take on a project or take on a relationship or an idea. Go back, retrieve this this good thing that is going to improve our lives and expand our lives. And now we're going to bring it back into our journey, our forward destiny. And then when Saturn goes direct here at the end of the month, it really takes us forward on that, with that new aligned, shall we say, things that we retrieved from the past, people, ideas, projects. And then we're bringing them with us forward. Now, Jupiter's going to stay in retrograde. Mercury's going to go out of retrograde in December. Saturn's going to be out of retrograde in December, but Jupiter's going to continue its retrogradation, which means we're continuing to draw on what we have internally learned, and we're continuing to integrate wisdom, knowledge, experience. And it's a long retrogradation, but it is in its abundant sign of Cancer, so it shouldn't block abundance. It should continue to feed us abundance. Only we're really leaning on what an internal wisdom that we have developed in the last. Well, all of this journey began in December 21, 2020. So we've learned a lot. We've gained a lot of wisdom in our experience and in our learning. Jupiter is about learning and growing consciousness and awareness. So we've made a lot of new awareness, new knowledge. So now when Jupiter goes into retrograde, we then apply it. We then see, did we really learn something, or was it only head deep, or did it change who we were? Now at Jupiter retrograde, we see that it has changed who we are, and we now act from that internal place of knowing rather than external. So we have two lunations, as always, every month. We're going to have a full moon in Taurus on the 5th of November. And that is going to be a super abundant full moon, 13 degrees of Taurus. Super abundant full moon. Anytime you're going to get the moon in Taurus, we're really going to get some nice harvest, especially a full moon. We're harvesting. We're reaping the rewards on a full moon. We're seeing the results of some sort of a nice, abundant, strong, stable, long-term results from some sort of effort that we may have seeded in the new moon in May. So we're seeing sort of the harvest of that, and it looks very abundant and sort of we could say it's a very rich produce with a lot of nutrients, nurturing us to continue on this highly supported path that we're on by the universe, feeding us lots of richness. And then we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio on the 20th. And the new moon in Scorpio on the 20th is pretty intense because it's at the end degree point of Scorpio. So it's like kind of a crisis degree. So for some people, this could be a situation of sort of intensity, upset. But there's a crisis often at the end degree point. But again, it depends on your own personal chart, if it's giving you a harsh angle, but if not, it's a really beautiful new moon where we really clear old fears. With this Saturn, Jupiter trine, it's really supporting our forward momentum. By this point, Saturn is still in retrograde, but we're really finding some deep clearing, some purging of transformative of the fears, some deep fears that have been holding us back from taking our nice path, because it really does. This new moon is a part of that water trine, which brings us into a harmonic flow towards our destiny, a stable new future. So we're really breaking through some sort of deep fear, inner fear that's blocking our destiny with that new moon. And so this is a new moon, a new beginning from a newly healed, or shall we say, purged, brave, the end of that, because whenever you get to the end degree point, Neptune is making a trine to Neptune. So it's sort of some sort of a blessing as a result of having done some internal transformative work. We now have a new seed, a new beginning from sort of fresh soil. So very fertile new moon. And so that takes us pretty much to the end of the month there. Saturn stationing direct, I'm going to go into all the 12 signs now. Saturn stationing direct is going to bring a lot of forward momentum on top of the retrograde energy. So we get a nice, Saturn's been in retrograde, so things have felt possibly pretty blocked and slow and heavy. So then when Saturn starts moving direct, we start to feel it's a slow build momentum, which is really going to take strong traction in February when it goes into Aries. So we're realigning in these energies, getting back, making sure we're in the right path, in the right Dharmic destiny, with the right people, the right projects, the right ideas, so that when Saturn goes direct, we're in alignment, going forward with those things. And again, this is all with a reflective, with the month beginning with this retrogradation, we're really connecting with our higher selves, our souls, and really connecting with what our soul is here to do. And we're just finding the path forward, clarifying that path forward this month. And it will go very strongly forward by the we'll start to really feel a momentum start to build by the end of the month. All right, have a wonderful month. Namaste. All right, Cancer. This month looks very interesting for you because you're having the grand water trine in your first house. Jupiter's in your first house, causing you a lot of expansion and confidence and protection, actually. So the month starts out with Uranus opposing Mars in your fifth and in your 12th, where, of course, this would depend on whether it directly connects with your chart or not. But this could be a sudden disruptive upheaval of a relationship. It could be an ending of a friendship. It could be a truth communicated from a past life connection, a truth revealed that puts you into the relationship because we have a new moon here at the end of the month. It doesn't have to be negative. This can just be surprising but disruptive, changing the course of your life, basically. And it would happen through friendships and connection. And then 12th house, now 12th house, there could also be a sudden invitation to travel. So some sort of a surprise comes in at the beginning of the month in the first week that potentially can really change the course of your plans and life. Now, whatever happens, it is aligning you with your true Dharma because it does make Mars makes a joins in on the water trine. It makes a wonderful angle to Saturn in your ninth house of travel. So there's a good chance you suddenly up and leave and travel with a friend. Now, Saturn also in your ninth house is wrapping up a karmic cycle and ending we're all going through a karmic wrap up here in this energy of Saturn. When Saturn goes direct, it's going to go back over this part of the chart where we're finally untangling some old karmic knots, but also where we're going to start feeling some real momentum moving. And it is at the beginning of the month, Saturn being in retrograde. Mercury's about to go retrograde, and then Jupiter goes retrograde, and all these three are going to be retrograding, causing us to really reflect on our true soul calling, dharmic path, and what we really desire. And we're getting ready for Saturn stationing direct at the end of the month, where we really have made some deep connections with what we desire, where we want to go, what our dharmic path is. Confidence with Jupiter in our first house, and giving us the confidence to take this forward, our Dharma forward here. Now, when Jupiter goes retrograde, we're really digging in on what we've been learning a lot when Jupiter was in direct. And also with Saturn in your ninth house, you're doing a lot of learning, studying astrology, learning your career, going to school, becoming more skilled or educated in some fashion, which then is going to give you a really strong boost in your career when Saturn moves into your 10th. So you're going to feel right now, as we're preparing for Saturn to station direct, some beautiful blessing involving your dharma, your mission, your purpose, clarity, and some sort of beautiful universal support with blessings that you can really see that this is solid. Your career feels stable and secure and for the long haul, and that you're getting universal support on this path. Um, so so Jupiter is going to have you really working on, when it goes into retrograde, it's going to have you really integrating everything that you've been learning in that ninth house. And let me get you back into the right house here. Jupiter goes retrograde on the 8th. I'm sorry, the 12th and or the 11th, depending on where you are. So you're going to be really fine. And then with that Mercury retrograde in your sixth house, which is a work house and a health house. So there's possible contacts, work relationship, co-collaborative, shall we say, soul contracted partnerships that come in from the past that have to be or that are, we realign with, or there is a health concern that comes back from the past that does have to, some adjustments have to be made. Um, but on the whole, these are blessings happen in the background. So these are not too bad of adjustments. They're just enabling you to either take a career path more forward with past connection or past projects coming in from the past, or path health issues that are dealt with that are retrieved, anything from the past coming in here that is really in alignment, that helps you align with your true Dharma because it's in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is in your first house. So you're really aligning with your purpose, your soul purpose here, and finding confidence and courage to take it forward with these, and very blessed with this water trine in these Dharma houses. So then we have this beautiful new moon, full moon in your 11th and in with the sun in your fifth. That is going to happen on the, going back here on the beginning of the month. I'm sorry, we're in hours. We got to go to days. That is happening on the 6th, the full moon. Is it? Is it? What is it? The 5th, yep, the 5th. So it is happening on the 5th, and that is going to be in your 11th house, which is wonderful to have a very abundant new moon in your 11th house, because this will be bringing you, shall we say, where did I pass it here? It is bringing you lots of rewards from something you may have initiated in the, it is in the 11th house, but this program won't let me stay in Cancer and the moon in the 11th. So anyway, the 11th, um, the moon is going to be in the 11th house, the new moon and full moon, and it brings you harvest rewards from something you initiated in your media house, in your social media or networking, or through people that you've met, clients, wonderful sort of auspicious results. And you've had Uranus there. So you met a lot of people in the last 8 years, a real change of scene and change of tribe. So these are bearing beautiful fruits and abundant results in this full moon on the 5th. All right, so then we have this new moon in Scorpio on the 20th of November, and that is going to be interesting. It conjoins Mercury in retrograde, so a relationship from the past comes in. This might be a very intense a very intense, deep connection that's gone through a big transformation, comes in and really is perhaps a divine connection. If you're not in a relationship, then this would be a true connection, because we're looking at a brand new 29-year cycle. Saturn rules your seventh house. When Saturn goes into Aries in February, this new cycle is officially beginning. So you're getting ready for a long-term relationship. And if you're already in a relationship, this could be a new friendship from the past, old friendship from the past, returning to align with a collaborative venture, creative project, or it is with your Dharmic destined true mate. Now it opposes Uranus. Mercury retrograde, opposing Uranus in retrograde, with Jupiter in retrograde in your first house. So we're really looking at situations and people and collaboratives and projects from the past returning and having a really abundant new support, universal support, because it aligns with this big water trine. So it is a part of your Dharma. So the universe is connecting you with the right people to take you forward onto your destined path in this new moon. And then at the end of the month, Saturn is going to go direct. You're going to start feeling a lot of momentum in this water trine, in these blessings, and all the ways that the water trine has blessed you. You're leaning very heavily on the integrated lessons you have learned. You're now working from the internal place of what you've learned, rather than having to sort of check your notes all the time, or, you've really integrated this lesson. Now, Saturn's going to go direct. You're connecting with your true connections, your true relationships, and your abundant path is now going to start. Your Dharmic path, your purpose, is going to start feeling some momentum going. Now, it may be slow building as Saturn builds direct energy, because Saturn moves slowly, but by February, you will feel the full forward motion of this new beginning. That is your new 29-year cycle. All right, Cancer, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful month. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me at soullevels.com. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.